Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Let's see what we got going on here because it is TGIF. Thank goodness it's Friday. We're looking forward to that. All right. We're starting off with the dollar Swiss. And you can see there that it's moving down again. It's going to be very interesting. The Federal Reserve, they are really fighting for, instead of like projecting and theorizing, they're actually fighting for actual, and that's what's really going on here. It's starting to get more and more aggressive by the central bank itself, and probably central banks across the planet follow suit, and that's where we are. But the dollar overall has been relatively quiet now for years. It's been bouncing about 5 or 6% up or down around 95 on the DXY and the UUP. We use the UUP right here. It's the same combination, weighted and so forth. But it just isn't really falling apart. It's just there's weakness now, and we just saw where, as we can see, we scroll this like that, you can see, that the dollar Swiss was down into the 88s, climbed back up into the 94s, up in there. Now we're back into the 90, just underneath the 92s, 91 and 91s, between 91 and 91 and a half. You see it here on the J4X. It's just been gliding down. You can see over here on our fact check spreadsheet. So we can light that up. Fact check spreadsheet right there. You can see on line 21, we were like 14 or 15 days in a sell. We went into a buy yesterday, and now we're fighting our way right back into the sell again. And the weekly signal is 2 weeks in a sell. So let's see, where is it at? Right here. Not sure why that's always a dotted. I thought we made that solid, but there it is. That is the weekly. So we went into the daily here, and then we went into the weekly here, and then it was winner, winner, chicken dinner. And then from here, you can see it did a little bounce up yesterday, a little digest. Maybe, the scare of everything at the end of the day. That's kind of like Europe was closed, Asia was not open yet, and the United States, Mr. Biden had come out with another idea. I guess I'm not even sure if it's his anymore. It seems to be. I'm not sure whose idea it is, but Mr. Biden condoned it. And they were talking about raising interest taxes up to the 43% area on capital gains, which is just like, it'd be like an explosion in the stock markets. So I guess money started to run. Let's see, dollar goes up. Don't ask me why they're buying. We're the calamity, and they run towards us. It's kind of like a fireman. When the house is on fire, people run towards it. The firemen run towards it, and the people living in it run out of it. In this case here, it seems to be the same way. When there's a problem in the world, and if it's 30-year Treasury bonds or 10-year Treasury bonds of the United States, money seems to come towards it, not out of it. So they look at it as like a buying opportunity. Hey, how you doing this morning, Daniel? You're nice and early. That's good. Let's see. Ethereum touched 26 this week. Yeah, I know, and kind of interesting to watch that rotation. Hey, Robin, how you doing? Let's see. Yeah, it was interesting. You were seeing this rotation with the cryptos. We can jump over to there. Take a peek at the cryptos. Let's see. Where are we at here? Right there. And bing, bing, bing. There's the April Bitcoin. Went into a sell yesterday. I know it's on the fact check spreadsheet there. Yeah, so right there it went into the sell, and now we are cleanly through the weekly sell again, back into the sell instead of remove that. There we are. And so you can see here, not sure why that one is there. It's supposed to be on the other side of it. Let's fix that. There it is right there. And so you can see, we went into the sell back in here, and they were flirting with getting into the buy, and it's rolling over again. So, interesting move from the mid 60,000 down to the 50,000, basically just underneath it. Very fascinating there. And then we have our new tool we've been watching, and let's go to that. Right there. There it is. There. This is the Coin Coinbase, the new stock, and you can see here. It was on a downwardly slope throughout yesterday. This is what? This is the 12-minute bar, 12-minute chart we're running right now until we collect up more data, and then we'll start to go into our combination more. But you can see here, it just pressured it from the 310 down to the 286 throughout the day yesterday with all that noise. Obviously, I would say that there's some loss of confidence of coherency. In other words, they want to pretend that Mr. Biden's administration is going to be coherent, but there just isn't there is no logic that comes out of it. It's just like all, shoot from the hip, wild, crazy stuff. So I can see that pressure there. Daniel says 10-year bond notes are going up. Yeah, well, we've been in the buy. Where's it at? That's line 10, right? Yeah, so we're what? No, there it is. There it is, line 11. So we're 1 week, 2 weeks in a weekly buy and 2 days in a daily buy. Let's go over and take a look at that. Let's see, right there. There we are. There's the 30-year right there. You can see 30-year has been in a buy for a couple weeks too. They're both doing the same thing, and this didn't go. This went into the buy and never stopped. You can see this has been in a buy for 3 weeks now. It's been in a buy on the 30-year. And then let's show you the 10-year. There's the 10-year. Yeah, I'm not sure why it says 2. Maybe it's 12. We don't look at it enough. We don't have any clients looking at this right now. There's 4. There's 8. There's 12, 13, 14. This is the 15th day, so it should be 14 on there, not 2. We just don't really look at it that closely anymore. You know what I watch is I watch the 30-year, solely because we have a client following the 30-year, so I keep track of that. So you can see both of them, the 30-year and the 10-year. They're not yielding much more. The yield is in the 150s. It's low 150s. Matter of fact, I'll take a look and see what the yield is right now. But they're not, they're not exploding, and everything is cool. Let's see. Opening it up now. The yield is, maybe I should put it up on the screen. Let's put that up on the screen. Why would I do that on? That's just going over to the tablet and doing it on the tablet. Let me approve. There we are. Go like that, and then let's see. Here it is, right there. Pre-market. There it comes. And we'll bring this up on the screen here for you, using the CNBC. You can see right, where's it at? Right there. So the 10 years yielding 153, and the 30 years yielding 29. You can see that right there, 219. And let's see, there it is. Usually they show some of the Europeans. Where is it at? They usually show the. I could have sworn that it's on here. It's usually the DAX and so forth is on here sometimes. Where's that at? Like the German bond is yielding like minus 0.31. Where's it at? I saw it earlier, and it shows us some. Let me see if we can find some other interest rate products real quick here. All right. Well, we'll hunt that down. We won't torture everybody here. You can see the European markets are down right now, right there. FTSE's down 42, DAX down 141, Kakaran is down 36. I guess that's AEX is that the Australian? And then you can see the stocks. Now, what was interesting is they did perk up the Shanghai. Nikkei fell back down a little bit. So we'll get rid of that now. Move that over to there. See, Daniel says cryptos after the correction will go back up, I think, in May. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I think they're inflation fighters. I think they're falling down mainly because the Biden administration is really, really showing. Like the big questions yesterday was, they had someone from the Treasury on. I forget, or Commerce Department. No, it was a woman from the Commerce Department, the new Commerce Secretary. And they were very the questions that were being asked were like, how are you going to punish crypto investors? I mean, that was what they were talking about. If you're willing to raise capital gains this way, are you planning on punishing crypto investors because you're it's not what is it? Normally it would be DOJ, the Department of Justice would, or maybe they are. Maybe it's the DOJ that's investigating it, or no, I guess it's not. It must be U.S. Treasury. Mrs. Yellen is investigating the cryptocurrencies at the moment, or crypto assets, and so I think that scared them because the big question on the financial channels that I watched and trust, their big question was how are you going to punish crypto investors? That was the attitude in those last 2 hours of the U.S. trading. So, let's see. Daniel says, Hang Seng and Australian indexes are ones that look most healthy at the moment. And it must be really hard to want to invest in the Hang Seng since China is chewing the country up, Platinum up 3%, palladium. Yeah, I saw that on the spread. Let's take a look at that. Let's see that. Let me go there because I was happy to see the platinum spread straighten out a little bit there. We're going to throw gold onto the J4X right there. And then we'll go up here and look at the platinum. And there's platinum. So you can see platinum's trading at 1249. You subtract 1249 from 1794. That comes out to be 544. So the spread is backed off. It had gone up to like 590, and so they've taken a good $30-$40 $5.50. Yeah, so they've taken out they've taken a good $40 out of it again. So that's kind of glad to see it hold the $600 area. For the palladium, right? Palladium seemed to be just bouncing around. That last couple of days. Now they're lifting it here. You can see we've been in a weekly buy in palladium since the $2,600 area. It really hasn't done a lot. And then we went into the buy here. And because of the green dot, it couldn't go into the sell. Then, no, I think we went into a sell here. So let's steal this sell here for the fun of it. So I guess it went into the sell there. And then it went right back into the buy again the next day. So that's what's going on. Now you can't take the sell, traders, solely because why? You're trading hard delta off of this. If you're trading binaries or options, you could take the sell because you have a limited risk. But when you're trading the hard delta, we'd like to see a higher percentage of success rate. So there's the palladium. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's the way it rolls. Yeah. So, it's been interesting. This is a nice winner chicken dinner here, and then it got you out here and then got you back in here, and now it's making up for it right there again. So let's see. Daniel says copper 431. Yeah, we went into a daily sell on copper yesterday, and we are flying again today. Might go up to 440, and gold, silver might be going up. Yep. Well, as we always say on the trading floor, if it doesn't go up, it's going down. But the baskets of the platinum, the palladium, the copper is doing much better. Yeah, I agree with you. Those products are. It's like that. It's like the way lumber is. And have you been seeing the stories on plywood? I mean, it's like a commodity inflation explosion going on there. But let's put copper up there. Boy, we've drifted from the currencies really quick here. But let's shift today. So if you feel like you don't want to hurry it up, okay, there we go. Just seeing an internal communications. There is the copper. You can see here there, we went, we're in a weekly buy at the moment. It's not totally confirmed, but we're in it. And when it closes today, then we'll be confirmed in it. So you can't really want to go short in here with any of this. And you've been long from here, but again, it was in a short, so you can't do that unless you're doing binaries or options. And then here, now it's going to join in together with both of them. I wonder if they're going to make the run for the all-time highs again. Let's see. Lumber futures touched 2 days ago. Coffee up 2%. Wheat, corn, and soybeans up a lot more. Yeah, I'll tell you, our math has been catching the grains dramatically, catching it all on a good action there. There is 47. New Zealand CAD are we looking at today? not American dollar against Canadian dollar. Okay, let's go check that out. How you doing? 47 AOKs? All good? Let's see, where are we at here? Let's see. Go right there. And where's it? Right there. There it is. Now let's look at the NASCAD. Right there. Yeah, they went into the daily sell yesterday, but we're in a weekly buy, so you really don't want to try to go short there. And now you can see it's lifting back up, but the daily is not lifting up yet. We're not seeing that there. Let's see what it looks like on J4X. There. And doing the same red thing, and it's in the sell also. See right there. And you can see the histogram's lifting up. Dan, you're into that histogram. How's that make sense? Good to hear that. 47. Hey, middle age, how you doing? How about the coffee? Yeah. How about the boy? I'll tell you, the meats and the grains are really freaky. One's getting crushed, the other one's taking off. Let's see. Middle age says, "Hey, Daniel, I've been long coffee for 3 months now." Target 126. Yeah. Middle ages. Let's see what that's doing. Let me just see, where is that? Could it be there? Yeah, there it is. That's the coffee there, right? Yeah. Let's widen that out. Yeah, look at that zigging and zagging and in and out of what? So it's, we should put a middle line in there. Yeah, so it's been in that sell for this. And then it went into the daily buy there. And then it went into a sell, and then it went right back into the daily buy 2 days later to there. Let's see what that is, right? Oh, right there. And then it goes into the sell here. Let's steal this one. Right there. And now it's back in the buy again for the last couple days. And at the same time, over the weekly buy at the same time. So guns blazing up, and there they go. Watch her climb. That's you're right. That looks like the, if we get, I mean, that looks like a weekly buy that could hold up. It does. Let's go back and look at the last weekly buys. It's got some strength to it. See the way the green line is really taking off through the time manifold. That's pretty high up above it. This could be the run that you're looking for. See, when it gets going like that and it gets over the time manifold, like right here, the green line, it can be the beginning of the nice move. Look how it took it all the way up to here. They do one more, move up here, and then it rolls over, and it's, boom, right back down again. So we'll see if this thing goes sideways up, or sideways one or the other, and go from there. Okay, let's see, where else in NASCAD? Let's see. You don't want to see Canadian? we're gonna see Canadian one way or the other, so it won't matter. Let's see. Let's see, where are we at now? So where were we? Okay, so we were looking at Swiss. We've jumped into the commodities. Boy, I'll tell you, the world. I saw somebody doing an analysis of commodity currencies last night, and it was very impressive. It was a woman trader out of London. And she does technical analysis and so forth, and she she was speaking very well about, she said, currencies have been doing really fine, over the last couple of years. They're not too wild. It's the truth. It's been a very good safe haven if you're an intraday trader. Currencies are a really good place to trade. It really is. Just don't overextend yourselves. Let's see. Let me just move this over like so. Like that. Let's move that there. Let's go take a look at Canadian like so. There's Canadian. It's playing with, when did the daily sell here off that big spike down? It's not getting beat up or anything, but we are flirting with the weekly sell, and it isn't a daily sell. And then, let's see. Then we go. Oh, what's Daniel saying? He's saying, yeah, that's usually where we head on the second row of looking at currencies. Let's do this. Let's take a look at the euro, and then we'll go check out your list that you got there and see what they're doing. There's the euro. You see the euro has tried to go. It went into the sell there yesterday, right here, and let's just put a sell in there. And then it's right back in the saddle again. Right back in the saddle again. Yeah, look at that. Turning back up again. Yeah, look at that nice long trend it had, you know? And a weekly buy, daily buy, you know, I like that. You know, it's been it's a nice place to be, you know, when you really think about it. Look at that nice sell-off here. I mean, you get your ins and outs, but they give you a chance to breathe. The currencies have been very momentum orientated, very healthy, you know? Very healthy products. Cable looks like it's going to hold up. Let me refresh that. Looks like it's going to hold up in that weekly. It's going to be very interesting. So let's do this. Let's move that down a little bit. There we are. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to hold up in that weekly buy, and then maybe this will turn up going on Monday, and they'll go after the 40s again on the cable. And then let's check out the yen. We'll do a twist around, I guess you could say. Instead of doing the norm, we'll do this because Daniel and everybody are here today, and I like to satisfy as many people as possible in here, especially currencies. Love talking about the currencies. I mean, I'll look at a stock and so forth, but I'm more of in the indexes, currencies, and the cryptos and commodities. That's really what this webinar is all about. I try to stay in that zone. Now you can see here. Now why is that? Let's just move that down a little bit like that. Yeah, look at that. So we've been in the sell since here. It's just been one nice ride down. Went into the weekly sell here, and it was tough, because it wouldn't get into the weekly sell for the last couple of weeks. It was a long ride too, when you really think about it. If we go like that and then we widen this, I mean, you can see it went into the buy back here, back in January, first week of January, and ran from the 103s up to the 111s, I guess it is, something like that, 110s and change. And now it's flirting in the 107s, and we've done a nice job on the downside there. Yeah, let's check that out. Let's jump over to Turkish lira because it's going after my dotted line. I keep on watching it. Look at it. It's going after the dotted line. Let's see, where did J4X get to? Let's go check out the J4X on the Turkish lira. Right there. Yeah, you can see there it's driving up. It's driving up. And you can see it on the J4X too. Driving up. And I'll tell you, this weekly turns up. Whoa. I'm concerned that the Turkish lira is going to go beyond 870. I think it's going to go. I'm thinking it's going to go to the, it's going to hit my dotted lines. But I'm afraid that this thing could see the 9.5, 10. I'm really, the way it's acting, it's got that long-term capital management look to it. It's got that look. I'm telling you. I think that anybody playing this thing better be very, very careful. I agree with you. You can see the action in it. Let's see. Now, usually when we look at New Zealand and the Canadian, we go to the commodities. Let's just run over to oil. I want to see where oil is because oil was firm this morning. I did see it. Okay, they backed it off a little bit. See there, they're trying to get it back into the weekly buy. Let's refresh that. It's like the way cable is, It's trying to get back into the weekly buy, but at the same time, the daily's just not picking up on it. The daily's keeping you out of it altogether. So I don't know what's going on there. This could be a big triangle. It's possible. This could be like a big triangle here. This could be the 1, the 2, the 3. Maybe it's going to do a 4. Maybe it'll go challenge this lows in here and then take off again. Yeah, I mean, if they're raising the price of plywood up, yeah, yeah. I don't know how long term. When you remember, was it last week or the week before? What were we looking at? You were saying long term. Oh, NQs. You were saying long term. 14,300 was it, or 1,400 or something? I forget. Remember that? I kept on saying it looks like it's going to do it today. By the end of the day, it had gotten there. It was it was something like 4 ticks away, four handles or something like. Not handles, just 4 ticks on the NQs. Remember that? I don't know how long term. It wouldn't surprise me if they ripped their hearts out one. That is the classic. The old. Let me digress. Let me give you old folklore in trading. Uh, the old guys. When I moved over to the New York Stock Exchange as a member, uh, especially trading the options and the futures there on the New York floor itself, they were not happy to see us young guys and us guys involved in the derivatives. They thought we were the death. We were death. we were the ones that hurt them. As far as they're concerned, they liked the idea that stocks went up and down, like a half a dollar a year. They didn't like the idea that the volatility had exploded and there was no way of stopping it. And they really hated that. Instead of going up and down a half a dollar a year, it was now going up and down half a dollar an hour. And then that was because of the listed options market and the futures at that point too. So anyway, the old guys used to say the best way to get a rally is to trap the shorts. And they didn't exactly say it. They said it that way, but then they added a little colorful statement to it about how you trap the shorts. In other words, physiologically. It's not very polite, so I'm not going to say it. But that is the way to make something go up. You trap the shorts, and boy, is the Turkish lira not the perfect candidate for that? That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Ooh, that looks good. That is exactly what I'm trying to say, and it is. The shorts are the key. That's why I'm responding to that. If they trap them, this thing could go to 10 and a half, 11. This thing has that long-term capital management look to it. It really does. So, I see. Am I answering everything? Let me make sure I'm answering everything. Turkish lira again. We must U.S. dollar. U.S. dollar. Oh yeah, Nasdaq 14. Yes, it touched the thing after I called it that. I know. It was like it was like saying that morning it was trading at like 13.8 something. I said I think it could go after it today, and it missed it by 4 ticks. And by the London Open the next morning, at 2 in the morning here, it was there. It was trading there and through it. So in this universe of our volatility, the market volatility of these times. Oh, let's check out the Mexican peso. In this universe of our times, yeah, you want to be very careful about being short unless you're doing it through the derivative, because the volatility is so much higher nowadays, and the liquidity is so much thinner. It's just a whole different universe. Now here we are. You can see we went into the daily buy for the first time. A classic again, as I've been saying. Not trying to brag or anything, but the currencies are the place to really be when you want continuity and consistency. You can see it. Look at that. We go into the weekly sell here, a daily sell and a weekly sell from this point, and look at the wonderful ride it gives you. That's like a real consistency. Look at it here. Goes into the sell here, and it finds a way to get down before it goes after a buy. Goes into a buy for a few days, and boom, it goes down again. It's consistent. Look at the distance between these signals. That's what you want. You want that momentum on your side. The Momo, You really want the Momo. So, we're not, you can see here on the weekly, we're not really turning up much. It's not challenging the manifold. It's already pushing itself back into the sell again, right there. So we used to call it Momo, momentum. You want that momentum to be with you when you're trading. You don't want it to be against you. Now, I mean, obviously that's like a no-brainer, of course, but you know, I'll say it out loud, you know, and that's really what it comes down to. You want that Momo. That's why we used to call it Momo. You know, with momentum. We want the Momo to be with you. If you're going to be short, you want the Momo to be heading down, obviously, and vice versa. If you're long, you want the momentum going up. So yeah, I can see that, and you can see the Momo is definitely. Look at our weekly signal. You can see the dailies had a long run. In this case here, it went into the buy one day, and it's already trying to drop right back into the sell again. The Momo to 1940 would not be a surprise at all. So, all right, where else are we? Let's see. We did cable, we did euro, we did Turkish lira. We've seen the yen. We jumped into some of the secondaries. Let's check the ruble out, and then from there we can go over and check out some of those other currencies that Daniel was saying too. Some of the Scandi and so forth. You can see here the ruble heading down. I heard, what did I hear? I heard some troop movement in the Russian Federation was moving the troops back, the extra troops back, and then Ukraine. You know, you gotta imagine Joe Biden is torturing these poor Ukrainian people. Keeps on forcing them to pay his son money. You know, it keeps on. They keep on forcing, and now the last administration, that Biden was involved in with Obama, they wouldn't give him any weapons, right? So Trump sells them all the weapons. Now Biden is yelling at them to use those weapons and move them up onto the front lines. I mean, Biden is, wow, crazy boy. He's crazy boy. I don't even know if he's thinking. I don't think he's even making half the decisions. He reads everything on a card. So something's wrong there. He reads everything. He doesn't. He does not. He doesn't exactly talk. When he talks, he gets in trouble, and they have to change what he said. So he has to read from the cards, or he's not doing what the I guess the conundrum or the organization is telling him to do. So then they have to walk it back. So yeah, he's. So this should go down. This ruble should be much lower. I just don't agree with the action there. At least back into the 60s. I'd like to see us get into another weekly sell. You can see the white line is challenging the time manifold here, which is a nice thing. Possibly setting up for next week to find a sell, and maybe then we'll see the ruble move back down and challenge the 70 area, and maybe we'll start to see the 60s again. When's the last time we've seen 60s in this product? Oh, I'm pushing the wrong way. Back there in June of 2020. So maybe it's that sell in May and go away thing going on, It could be that. It could be that. Literally could be that. Let's just take a look at it on J4X. That'll be a much smoother vision than my Chicago Quant when it comes to squeezing it together. Squeezing it together. Let's see. Right. Let's make it a weekly too. Make it a little bit more coherent looking. And there it is right there. Yeah, so basically, back in June of 2020. So it was like sell in May and go away. There it is there. No, it's not. I guess the Hinky Ashley is not really reflecting that. Is that 2019? There's April. There's June. It doesn't seem to be piercing the set like up on there. Maybe it was 2019. Let's do the monthly. Let's see. How do we adjust this? Let's see. Maybe we should get rid of that line there. Oh, there we go. No, it's not that. It's this one right here. There it is. Maybe that's it. There we go. There it is. Okay. Yeah, so what's that? March. So it was December. It was 2019. That's why I like to defer to the J4X. It's got a better view when looking back. Yeah, so it was 2019. It's going to take some work, but I really think the ruble should be at least challenging the 70 area. All right. Let's see. Where do we go from here? Anybody see anything particular we should chase after? I guess what we can do is go take a look at the other two energies. And right there, where's that? There's that's crude oil. So let's take a look at natural gas. Natural gas is looking firm. Daily buy, weekly buy, and let's see what the automobile oil is doing. Right there. That's been moving down with the oil too, and flirting with the weekly sell. This thing's been in a buy all the way back since the second week of December. So it should have taken a nice rest or do something. For now, ruble bearish, maybe 73 area. If it gets into the weekly sell, I'm thinking it's going to challenge the 70. But right now it's not in it, so I'm not thinking it. But yeah, that's what I would. I don't know. There's something going on. The ruble's got to be. It just seems to be way over. Or way underpriced at this point, up in the 70s and the 80s. They have so much more to offer, They really do. Yeah, that's where it comes down to. At least that's the way I see it. And so that is where we go. All right, now let's drift over to. Where do we go to from here? Let's go. We've kind of looked at the currency. Oh, let's see which other currencies did we miss any of the currencies that anybody wanted to see? Shout them out again if they want to see them. And what we'll do is we'll go over to. We've seen the cryptos and the pressure on them. So why don't we look at the metals complex? So you can see gold here, heading for the highs of the last couple months. Same thing with silver. It's lifted up from yesterday, trying to go after what's that, Wednesday's high. And we've seen the other two, palladium and platinum. They've moved up, starting to do their thing also at the same time. So especially platinum. The Yellen spread. That's what I always like to call it. It's the Janet Yellen spread. So that's really the true action that we're looking at the moment, and that is that the metals complex is kind of tangled with the currency market. Central banks like to use it as a pairs trade when they don't want to sell physical dollars, or they don't want to sell physical euros, if that's the pair, or if it's cable or something. They'll play with the metals market instead. Use metals to be a pairs trade of it. All right, now let's take a look at the stock indices. There's the Nasdaq. It's trying to get into the daily buy today. It's been a daily sell for almost a whole week now. Since here, when's that? Is that Monday? It was Friday, right? Yeah, Friday. You just check the clock. Yeah, Friday. It's been a daily sell since Friday. And then, but it's still in a weekly buy. So, as much as it seems like they're trying to sell these things, they're not selling these things. Can you look at the Euro AUD? Yeah, we have that. Where are you? Right there. Euro AUD. I think it's in a daily buy for a couple of days. What is it on the? We have it on the fact check spreadsheet too. That's line 22. 4 days in a buy. Right there. See? And it's in a weekly buy for a couple of weeks. 2 full weeks going on a third. There. Whoa, not that. That's not right. There we are. That's better. Oh, solid line. A little depth to it. Wait. There we are. So we've been in a weekly buy since here. And you can see it does go in and out a little bit. It did it too a couple of weeks ago. It jumped into the weekly buy and then right back into the weekly sell. And then the daily buy, I guess, was right there. Actually, it's 1 day back. Right there. And it held up all the way to the sell-off there. Let's grab a hold of that. And then it went back into the buy right there. Yeah. There we go. See, again, another product that likes to, give you some continuity. So it goes into the sell. You can't go to sell there because of the dots. So it's still in a buy. Still in a buy. And finally it goes into the sell right there. So it goes into the buy here and hesitates all the way around throughout that. But remember, it's in a weekly sell at that point. So the only way you want to be long it is through options or a binary. And then it slips into the weekly buy here and then goes right back into the weekly sell. There we go. Bingo. And so now it's doing that. Now let's just take a look back a little bit. Wow, that was a long weekly sell. Woo! Since November all the way to March? Wow. So from November, where to go into the... Oh, yeah. Went to the... No, yes, November right there. So it went into the sell in the 165-ish area. See that there? 165. And went all the way down to... Where'd it go down to? My goodness. What's that? 153-ish area. Right there, 153-ish. And then went into the weekly buy in here in the 156-ish area. So 9 handles away. Zigzagged a couple times, and now we're... Who knows, this might go on to a ramble, like head north for a while now. Let's see, what's Daniel say? Where are we at? Euro maybe from 156 to 158. Huh. Yeah, see, once you go into a weekly buy, you have no idea if you're going to have the next week you're going to go into a weekly sell. Or goes into a weekly sell, and you don't know if it's going to stay there for 2 or 3 months. And it zigzags in and out on the dailies. That's the beauty of our math. It does seem to predict future activity and reconfirming it each week. That's the neat thing out of it all. So you're always, it's always kind of like giving you a better idea where it's going. All right. Let's see. Any other particular product? Ooh. Get rid of that. Right there. Where am I? Where did I leave off? We were talking. Let me just go over to stock indices. Oh yeah. So that is what? The Dow Jones Industrial Average. Okay. No, that's the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq. Okay. So then where's the S&P? There's the S&P. Now the S&P had slid into a sell too for a few days, and now it's flirting with the buy. And again, it's in a weekly buy. It's not giving up. It's been in that weekly buy for 4 or 5 weeks. Is that 2, 4, 5 weeks? And then the Dow Jones Industrial Average, that's been in a weekly buy since March, the beginning of March. But you can see the last couple of days it's been real noisy. Look at that. Went into a sell, goes into a buy, goes into a sell. That's why it coordinates with the weekly. So you're not taking the short there, you're not taking the short there, you're just not long. And now you can see the the daily algorithm, the quantitative algorithm there, the Chicago Quant is flirting with the daily buy again. And that's what we're seeing there. And let's see, what else we got brewing here? Indeed, indeed. That's the action. I don't really see. Oh, you know what I noticed? Something's jumping out. This is something that's caught my eye. They may take this market up again. Look at this. Um, Check out the Russell 2000. It's starting to really take off. It's been bottoming throughout this whole. Look, that's the all-time high back there in mid-March. It's done a correction. They may be going after that again. Now, the only thing that caught my eye was we're finally going into the weekly sell since that point. And it went down in dailies, but it refused to go into a weekly sell. Now we're using a higher beta on that. I mean, if you're using just the 3 gas line, it goes into the sell here, and then goes into a buy here, and then goes into the sell here again. This thing may have increased its beta to the point where it's more mainstream, and we may want to turn off this. No, not that. Go like this, and turn off that histogram, and turn on that histogram. And so make that visible and make that invisible. That may be the more legitimacy we're moving into. I'm going to have to do some investigation on that with the beta, the volatility, and so forth over the weekend. But, it may be, see it goes into the sell here, and it's actually clean. It follows it. And the daily is short-term enough that it picks up the action. It doesn't have a problem picking up the action. But when it's got such a wild beta, you don't have much of a choice. It kind of forces you to, smooth it out more. And that's really been the challenge of it all. We have that happen in some currencies also. So, I'm reading some text at the same time. And so that's where we really stand with some of these products. I guess what's happened is money has moved. What we're seeing is less and less opportunity. That's what it really comes down to. Less and less opportunity. And because we see less and less opportunity, the products, it's forcing money to go places they normally wouldn't go to. That's pretty much the best way to describe it. So I think that's what we're going to do, is we're going to go like that. We don't have anybody following this, so it doesn't matter. We did have some people following the Russell for a while. And it caught, some really great moves. But they switched over to other indices, and they don't want to pay for too much. There we are. I think that's the best way to describe it right there. There we go. Bingo. Yeah, so that's the action there. Yeah, look how herky jerky this is, right there. There we are. Gives you a couple weeks of stuff. That's pretty cool. Look at this one. This is that massive run from November, where it went from the 18 area and below, 17 area, all the way up to the 20, before it went into a weekly sell. It went all the way up to the 23 area. So it went from 17 and a half, basically, or we rounded that to 18. So it went to 18 to 23, which is 500 points, which is about was that a 31% gain? Something like that? 29% gain over that time period. And now you can see it's zigging and zagging in and out. Goes into the buy here. And then I guess this gets moved over one, isn't it? Is that it? Yeah. So it goes into the buy here, and then a couple of days later it goes into the daily buy and catches that whole move. Then it goes into the sell here, back into a buy, and then back into a sell here. But we're in a buy, so you don't take it until here, and then it catches that whole move there. Yeah, see, the beta has changed in that. That's definitely what's going on there. And I think that's the way it's going to be for a while, too. Because, again, there's an asset inflation. And because of the asset inflation, money doesn't have anywhere to go anymore. And that's what the real problem is that there's just less out there for them to buy it. I remember seeing during this webinar years ago, the Wilshire 5000 index it was 5,000 stocks, and it was kind of like the Russell, it was lower, mid cap, so forth and so on. I think maybe it was the whole universe. It was Nasdaq and Dow Jones and everything all put together. And now I understand, and this is like 2-3 years ago, the Wilshire is down to like 3,700 stocks. They still call it the Wilshire 5000, but they only have 3,700 companies in there now instead of 5,000. That's the asset inflation. They're getting bought up, and there's no replacing them. New companies are not being replaced fast as the old ones being bought up. And that's really the challenge of it all. So, all right. Let's see. What do we got? We got a few more minutes so we can hunt around in the universe here. That was the stock indices. And then, let's see how this is doing. Right there, the 12-minuter. Still moving down. This is going to be very interesting. Let's take a look at the daily on this. I think we have 6 days of data now. 7 days? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th day of data. It'll be nice when it fills in. And but the daily itself, intraday, is the insight right here. Showing you, the continuity. Gets into the buy and it goes up, breaks down at the opening here today, and it falls from, where's that? That's 87.44, 287.44, and now it's down to 83. And they do have options and binaries on this product too now. So I don't know if Dukascopy's doing. I don't know if they do that many stocks. I guess they're doing European stocks on the binaries. I don't know. You have to check in with them and see what's going on. But they may have other opportunities. You have to check and see what they have in the inventory. What is liquid enough to make a market in? That's what it really comes down to. As we were talking about yesterday, Credit Suisse. I think it was Credit Suisse, right? Credit Suisse took it hard on the chin. Can you imagine losing $2 billion just trying to facilitate a client? Ouch, really. That's just bad management. Too bad. I hate to hear when a broker, loses money trying to facilitate a client. It means that they don't have the right people doing what they're supposed to be doing to begin with. And that's what we've seen with that archaeology. We've seen where the risk managers are being fired at all these places, and their vices have been fired. They're saying, wow, I thought you guys understood risk. How are you putting us in a situation where we lose, $500 million or $2 billion? Remember how many times I've talked about unwinding, Deutsche Bank, trading in the bankruptcy price range. They at one point they were the largest swap bank entity in the world. And so if they lost, they had something close to like 71 or 73 trillion, not billion or million, 73 trillion in swaps. Can you imagine they make some simple mistake trying to unwind that thing? They have to let it literally expire, because if they try to unwind it, they could literally lose $500 billion. What's the German economy? $1.5 trillion, 2 trillion, 3 trillion? I don't know. Can you imagine they have their largest bank in their country has a risk factor of 73 trillion. No wonder the central banks are the last buyers of resorts. Who could afford to be involved in this marketplace anymore? When you have now, I understand Deutsche Bank's down to in the 30s, like 36 or 37 trillion, and they're going to let that thing. You'll know when it gets down to like 1 or 2 trillion or 3 trillion. That's when it'll disappear. They can't get anybody to merge with that product. I mean, they tried to merge. Was it Commerce Bank of Germany with it? They've tried to do that half a dozen times. The central bank wants to get rid of that inventory. Just like I'm sure the Federal Reserve would love to get rid of Citibank, another one of those trading in the bankruptcy area. So, what I mean by that is that if your all-time high is $100, say, and your stock is trading at say $12 or $10 a share, that's when we start thinking. When you're 90% off the all-time high, that's bankruptcy, especially when everybody else is trading at all-time highs. That means that there's no real confidence. And so for like a Citibank here in the United States, the stock was trading, its all-time high was $670. Now it's trading at $74. So, I mean, that's a big, it's 8 times lower, 9 times lower. I mean, so, and everybody else is trading at all-time highs. So that's why Doc refers to it as bankruptcy area. That's the way we always viewed it on the trading floor. All right, traders, we're going to get out of here. Everybody have a safe and smart weekend. And we will catch you on TGIM. Thank goodness it's Monday. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, all my electronic newsletter trading pit friends. Ta-ta for now. Be safe, be smart.